Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Altitude Sickness Podcast. I am Tony, and today I'm doing a solo episode, a bit different, just because timing-wise, this one's coming out a little bit later as well. We had just some timing issue. I was out for the first half of this week, and so we couldn't schedule it up to a really good time, and so I just wanted to get a quick few minutes in here. This is going to be a much shorter podcast episode probably, because I'm pretty much just going to go over the games from last week. Nothing too crazy here. And again, like I said, I'm all alone. It's going to be if you're watching this, it's going to look a little weird. It's just, I'm just big on the screen here, but if you're listening, not really that big of a deal. Pretty much just going to be me talking, though. It is going to just be me talking. So it's going to be a lot like the Get Acclimated from earlier this year. But without further ado, I'm just going to get into it, really. Nothing too crazy. So last week, again, this is, if you're listening to this, it is not this week that we're currently in. It's last week. And this is talking about the Red Sox series, and we're talking about the Twins series, the Marlins series, which just finished up today. I'm going to wait until next Monday to talk about when Drew and Matthew are here. That way, it was a kind of an interesting series, and so hopefully that way we can just have all that and everything from this current week just all on that pod. And so this will just be from last week. So first to start up, the Red Sox series. Red Sox come to Coors Field, and the Rockies actually win the series against them. So that's pretty big. I feel like the Rockies usually don't play that well against the Red Sox. But the Red Sox are a bit down bad this year, and so Rockies took advantage of it. First game, again, also video-wise, it's going to be a little weird. Normally I have just my camera on the front, and then I can look over here. But when it's just me, I've got notes here, and then I've got some other screens here with some other information that I want to look at. And so that may just look weird, but don't think too much about it as I'm just looking away from what we're doing here. But to start off, game one against the Red Sox, Feltner was pretty good. He did his normal thing, as he usually does. He was solid at Coors, which is always a good thing, especially coming off a little bit of that, that injury from earlier. He went 6 innings, only allowing 2 runs, which is always going to be, it's a quality start, which, if you're getting that, the pitcher's giving you a chance to win. 6 innings from a Rockies pitcher at this point in the season is always a win as well. The bullpen was solid as well. They did their job. The offense, unfortunately, just non-existent. They just got absolutely destroyed by Jake Bennett for the Red Sox, who has been solid this year, but not otherworldly, I don't think. And so the Rockies kind of just got blanked at Coors, which unfortunately has happened a little more often than normal recently. Looking at the stats, their offense is actually not as good at home as it definitely should be, but it's very similar to the road numbers, which that's not good. If you're the Rockies, you should be much better at home, really. But who knows? I guess that way people can't claim, oh, Coors is the factor, but they still will, but it doesn't matter. That's just a tangent, though. But yeah, Rockies offense pretty non-existent until the 9th inning, where the Rockies, I don't remember how it happened, but it was single, walk, or something like that, some crazy stuff. They got the bases loaded, down by 2 in the 9th inning, and up steps Jake McCarthy, and he smacks a single down the left field, or he smacks a line drive down the left field line that ends up scoring 3, and he gets a third. So it was a 3-run walk-off triple, which I don't know if that's even ever happened in the history of the MLB, but it was absolutely crazy. Another fun note of this game is that the Rockies actually ended the game with 8 straight hits. In the 8th inning, they had runners on first and second twice, and they got 2 hits, got 2 guys on, and then got a single, and whoever it was thrown out at home, and then the next person got a single, and the guy was thrown out at second base, trying to round second base or something. And so that had 4 straight hits in that inning, even though it ended. And then that next game, and then, I guess so they were all single. They weren't even walks. They were all singles in that 9th inning off of Aroldis Chapman. And the Rockies ended the game with 8 straight hits. So that was really a weird one of those things that just happens in baseball. But yeah, the Rockies get the fun win in that first one. Kind of crazy. Game two, again, offense pretty non-existent here. Sullivan did solid pitching wise, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. You know, at Coors Field, rookie, like you're kind of okay with that. You wish your offense could show a little more. The only things happened here was Willie Castro and Ezekiel Tovar both had solo home runs, but other than that, the offense was pretty much completely blanked. Agnos not good though. He kind of just continues his struggling this year, which is really sad. Especially coming off last year, he was solid up until his injury, and his injury kind of derailed his season. And this year, it's just been kind of all over the place for him. So it's really sad. But yeah, Rockies lose that second game. So then the rubber match comes up for game three. And Freeland, unfortunately, not a good start at all. He pitches 6 innings, like he guts out 6 innings, which is always good. Like he gave up 6 earned runs, which obviously that's not ideal. But like if your starting pitcher can get you to 6 innings, like that's going to be huge. Like that's massive for your just honestly keeping your bullpen fresh and everything like that. And so, but the bullpen did their job. They kept the Red Sox just completely blanked in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. The bats heat up late. They started out pretty slow, but they heated up pretty late. I'm trying to get the box score up because I'd like to see exactly what happened. Yeah, they scored more runs in the 7th and 8th inning. They just continue to do their thing. And it shows again with this team, which is kind of the theme of honestly all their wins this last week, is they're the late inning offense and how they never are out. They might be down a lot because the starting pitching has not been that great, but they feel like they're never out of a game. They're always like coming back and like fighting back in these games. And exactly what they did here. At one point they were down, 6-3 going into the 7th inning. They were down 6-3. And so, you know, and definitely like thinking back to last year, like a 6-3 score might as well be 10-0. Like it felt like they were never going to come back from a game like that. But they go out, they have a 3-run 7th inning. They take advantage of a massive error that happened. The Red Sox, their shortstop bobbled a pretty simple ground ball that would have ended the inning, but instead it was first and second with 2 outs. And they string together a few more good ABs. Castro had 3 hits on the day, 3 RBIs for Cole Carrig as well. Just a huge win for the Rockies there. Like, absolutely love to see that. No home runs, but sometimes you don't need that. And so they just kind of continue to string together some things there. And it was just good to see. Mickey Moniak, this was, I think, the first game he came back. This was at least the first series he's come back from his injury. He also came off the bench and pinch hit and got a hit. So he was doing his thing. So he's trying to get back into the swing of things here. And I think a really fun fact about this series, really, that just, again, this shows kind of like they might be down, but they're really never out of the game. The Rockies technically only led the game in this series for only 1 inning. Since they walked off in the 9th inning in that first game, they never technically led in that game until it was just over. So they never had a lead at any point. And in the third game in which they won, because the second game they never were leading, and in the third game, they were not winning until the 8th inning because they tied the game 6-6 in the 7th inning, and then they scored 2 runs in the 8th inning. And that led to, at that point, that was, they were leading at that point. And in that 8th inning, how did we get that? It was, trying to see here. It was a tie, I'm trying to, Baseball Reference kind of has a weird way of showing what's going on. But, either way, not the point. It's not really that big of a deal. I'm just kind of just looking to see. I want to see how that happened, but looks like Tyler Freeman and Cole Carrig got I think it was like singles or something, and that got the Rockies those runs in that inning. So good late inning offense there for the Rockies, and they did their job. And so they ended up winning that series against the Red Sox. So Absolutely love to see that. So then they travel to Minnesota for the next series against the Twins. This one not as fun fully. Game one, it was unfortunate because Tomoyuki Sagano had probably the worst start of his career in America. Like in the MLB at least. I don't know if he's had worse starts in the NPB or the NPB. I don't know for sure, but either way, it was about as bad as it could have gone for him. Unfortunately, it was 5 innings of 7 earned runs. It was just Rockies were really never in this one until they were, because they were down. Like I meant, they were down 7 runs going into the top of the 8th inning. They scored 3 runs in that 8th inning, and then they ended up scoring 5 runs in the 9th inning to take a lead, capped off by a massive Hunter Goodman home run. McCarthy also had a 2-run home run in there. And then, like I said, Hunter Goodman had an absolute bomb in that top of the 9th inning to give the Rockies at that point an 8-7 lead. Unfortunately, Senzatella had to come into that bottom of the 9th inning, and recently, as we know, he has been not good. He has not been the same pitcher as he was early in the season, and he gives up a earned run in that 9th inning, and then Rockies cannot score in the 10th. And so it's up to Jimmy Herget to try and get them out of it, and he unfortunately cannot, and they lose in extra innings. It was a fun game, at least. At least it was a very fun game to watch for sure. So that was nice, at least. It was a fun back and forth from comeback. So I'll take that, because again, thinking last year, down by 7, that game ends 7-1, 8-1 if you're lucky, maybe something like that. Like you might get 1 or 2, but no, Rockies come back and at least they take the lead for a little bit in that game, which is just crazy thinking about it. Game 2 was just this one kind of just completely flipped. Really, it was pretty much all Rockies for a majority of the game, pretty much the whole game. Capped off, started because of Hunter Goodman having 3 home runs in this series, or in this game, which is the fourth of the series. So just absolutely insane here. Kyle Karros also added a home run in there, so very, very good. Lorenzen also had a pretty solid day that day, which love to see that. Unfortunately, it just continues the issues with Zach Agnos. He was very bad in the bottom of the 9th inning, and he allowed multiple runs to score to a point where when the Rockies were leading this game 8-1 or 8-2, like it was handled. He made it an interesting one. He made it a game, and Herget had to come in and get a save in a game which, going into that 8th inning, they were up by 6, and so. Unfortunately, Zach Agnos just has fully fallen off the trust tree here, but that's just how it goes. Herget got the job done, and the Rockies win that game. Game 3 was pretty boring, honestly. It was a mostly pitchers duel. A good performance from Ryan Feltner, at least. So he's had back-to-back solid starts. I believe this was a quality start as well. Trying to find it real quick here. This should be a quality start for him, because he went 6 innings, only allowing 1 earned run, 2 runs in total, but only 1 earned. Love to see that. And unfortunately, Seth Halverson, 2/3 of an innings, and he did allow a run, and that ended up being the game winning run. Because the Rockies kind of got blanked by Connor Prelip, who, going into this game, had over a 5 ERA. So you expect maybe, the Rockies can do, maybe get going against this guy, but he ends up striking out 10 Rockies, which just hasn't happened as much as you might think. Maybe more in May, because the Rockies were pitiful in May. But in June, it really did not feel like they were that bad. They were pretty solid offensively, at least in June. But no, they just struck out 10 times, and you're not going to win a game. It's very rare that you're going to strike out 10 times against a starting pitcher and win that game. They did end up scoring 2 runs off of him, though, but it wasn't anything crazy. Let's see here. TJ Rumfield had 2 hits and an RBI. Troy Johnson had 2 hits and an RBI, but everything singles. Only extra base hit was a Cole Carrick double. But overall, a pretty just they kind of went out on a whimper here in the last game, which I mean is going to happen. That's just how it goes. But yeah, so and that's just kind of unfortunate because you like to see Rockies take advantage of playing a not as good opponent because the Twins are also kind of in a rough. They've been playing a little bit better, but they're also kind of in a rougher spot. But it's all good. It's all good. But overall, yeah. So the Rockies go. What is that? 3-3 on the week. Like I'm not going to be mad going 3-3. So, and then yeah, I also have just other than that, those are the two series. I have just halfway through the season. I don't really know where I was going to go with this. I was thinking, oh, maybe I could like look at stats, but right now they're going to be kind of different, obviously, in terms of up until this week because this week has happened with the Marlins series that just finished up. But I'm going to save that till Monday's pod with Drew and Matthew back on it. So I don't really know what else I want to talk about too much. Like I said, this is going to be a pretty short one. I guess really quick, I can do a little bit of looking at. Oh, I can look at the home run graph. Actually, the home run draft. I mean, I could do that real quick. This is not including today's results, which I'm trying to think of who hit a home run today. I believe Mickey Moniak or Jake McCarthy did, but no one has Jake McCarthy, so it's just Mickey Moniak had a home run today for the Rockies. So they should be pretty up to date with that, I believe. I want to say, double checking. Yeah, this should be up to date right now. So not up to date fully, but up to date until yesterday, and I could just add one for Mickey Moniak for Matthew. So really quick, in third place, unfortunately, it's just Drew. He's got 8. Willie Castro, Willie Castro is doing pretty solid. He's got 6 home runs. Honestly, more than I was expecting him to have this year. But again, it's just Jordan Beck and Brenton Doyle, both starting rehab assignments, actually. I don't know if that was a this week or last week thing, but both of them have begun their rehab assignment in Albuquerque. And Jordan Beck was actually activated off the IL, but he is currently in AAA still. And he's fully in has to earn a spot mode, it appears to be. And it really stinks because, again, I love Jordan Beck, but it's pretty tight in that outfield right now. Now, granted, once trades happen or trade season comes by and the Rockies make some moves, hopefully, that should clear up a little bit of that outfield space. But again, it's really just come down to they have to play better. They no longer just get those spots. It's the logic over loyalty now with the new regime, and they clearly have shown that they won't put up with bad play, which is good and really shouldn't be that foreign of an idea, but this is the Rockies we were talking about. And then Drew also has Charlie Condon, who is raking at AAA, but he's currently not on the Major League squad, and I don't really foresee him making the Major League squad, honestly, until the end of July. Really end of, trade season. Once trades happen, I think that'll be when he comes up. Same thing with Zach Veen, who are both just doing really, really good. But, third place was Drew with 8 home runs. Second place is Matthew with 24. Tovar has 6. For even as bad of a year as he's having, 6 home runs is okay. Mickey Moniak's got his 14. He's doing his thing. Again, he missed a month, but he has been raking since coming off, which is just really good to see. So I guess he technically has 15 now. So I guess Matthew has 25, actually. Then Brett Sullivan has 4 home runs as well, which is more than I honestly expected. Unfortunately, Matthew's big problem here is the fact that he has Ryan Ritter on his team, who has not played since, I think, April in the Major League. So really brutal stuff there for them. And then first place, it is me with 45 home runs. I don't even mean to laugh, but that's just where we're at right now. Hunter Goodman has 27. I mean, the 1-1 pick, it makes sense. But he's having, honestly, an otherworldly performance right now. At this rate, I think I would be kind of shocked if anyone else ends up with 27 home runs other than Moniak. TJ Rumfield also was a boomer bust pick, and it's really paying off for me right now. He's got 12 home runs. Kyle Karros is finally coming into his own, doing really well recently. He's got 6 home runs. And then Zach Veen, who has not played at the major league level this year, has 0, but I expect him to make the roster at some point. Again, probably when trade season and that outfield's a little bit thinner. That's when I expect to see him. But other than that, I don't really have too much else, I don't think. This, again, very short episode. We're about 20 minutes right now. I don't really have much else that I want to do because I don't want to just ramble too much. I don't need to go into other things right now because if it's just me, kind of a little bit boring. But yeah, other than that, I really don't have much else. We'll talk, or it'll be, so next week should be normal schedule on Monday. I believe it might just be Matthew and I, or maybe it'll just be me if Matthew's done, but it's fine. We'll find things to talk about, and if it's just me, I'll find some things to talk about. But other than that, that is all I've got. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. And as always, go Rockies, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.